Welcome back to the Asking for Knowledge podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Mabe. This is episode 8, and in today's episode, we are going to talk about 3 days with Teacherman. So Teacherman, for those in the baseball circles, most likely you're familiar with him. Some may not be, but his actual name is Richard Schenck, also known as Aaron Judge's hitting coach. He has quite an internet following and quite a long list of internet detractors, as seems to be the case with most popular people today. At any rate, if this is your first time listening, this is Asking Out Loud. So today we're just going to discuss things. This is just me flying solo and sharing my experience in this case. 3-day coaches clinic. So we're going to talk about that. We do have a couple other episode types. We have Ask the Experts, where we're going to bring in folks of all different types in the baseball and youth baseball world, gain their perspective, ask them hard questions, and see what we can figure out and what conclusions we can come to and what things we can learn. Lastly, asking your parents. This segment will either be us going through results that we've gotten from surveys that we've conducted with parents, or we'll bring on parents themselves that have maybe been through the youth baseball cycle, maybe been through the recruiting cycle, maybe had a player go through at the highest level. We'll bring them on to share their experiences, to give us feedback, to help us learn and better understand how we serve our young players and get them what they need and give them the best opportunities to succeed in baseball and life. So our goal with this podcast is to get to everything first principles, or to get to first principles on everything youth baseball. I think I mixed that up a little bit, but to get to first principles on everything youth baseball. So end to end, trying to understand what's going on, what needs to change, what needs to stay the same, what are we getting right, what are we getting wrong. Our core focus as an organization is to help young players master the mentality, mechanics, and joy of baseball. So that's what we do on a day-to-day basis, is help coach the kiddos via online programs and in-person coaching. The podcast, however, is intended to educate the adults and spend a little time talking about different topics. So that's why we're here, and that is what we are hoping to accomplish. So to bring you up to speed, I just got back from a 3-day clinic in Missouri with, again, none other than Teacherman, also known as Richard Schenck. And it's a pretty fun time, pretty good time. And so I'm going to break this up. At first, I'm going to talk about the clinic itself. Next, I'm going to talk about Teacherman. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about the high-level pattern swing, which was the topic of the clinic, high-level pattern. So if you have not heard that, stop the podcast, go look it up, get on YouTube and look it up so you have an idea of what I'm talking about, and so you have a better idea of who Richard Schenck is, because without this context, or without that context, it will not mean much to you. So stop what you're doing, educate yourself, and then come back to the podcast. So let's talk about the clinic. So back in maybe I don't know if it's early to mid-November, saw a post on Twitter about a coach's clinic for free right after Christmas. Everything was free except for transportation. And so pausing for a quick second there, life has taught me to be a skeptic. And despite the fact of often and 99% of the time believing in the absolute best in people, sometimes, when it sounds too good to be true, throws up the red flags. But I'm not saying that's the case here, but it did make you wonder what in the world could be the incentive. Free clinic, free hotel, what's the catch? So we're always waiting for that catch. Anyway, so just to be clear here, now that you either know or you already knew who Teacherman was, got to be clear that this is not a fanboy trip to, the Mecca to meet the King of Swing. That's not at all what this thing was. I am in the process. I've been training some kids, and am in the process of expanding that. And it's one of those things where it felt to me like a natural progression in the process to understand this swing better, to hear it from the man himself, to go through drills and learn drills. So really it was an opportunity for me to sharpen my skills as a coach, and that was really the hope. This was a coach's clinic. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. That was intended to certify coaches that teach the HLP, high level pattern swing. So that was the purpose of it. So anyway, I absolutely was not a fanboy going to kind of worship at the altar. This really was for me to go and to learn as much as I could possibly learn. As always, I'm asking for knowledge and just hoping to get better as we go, so we can help more people and we can have a bigger impact in the young fellas and young ladies that we're trying to help. So back to the clinic. Within about 5 minutes of getting there, we had I don't guess we had a bat in our hand first, but we had a few tools and basically went through from ground up the drills. So we started with the hand pivot, worked our way to the coil. We went through the snap, snap and tilt, and all of the drills are very progressive in nature, and really were given very, very detailed instructions. So Justin Gerardo of Grit, New Jersey, was helping along with the clinic, and between he and Rich, they really gave us tons and tons of feedback. There were very few times where you went through a drill where one or the other was not observing, watching, giving feedback, coaching, and so it was really good. It was really good, really detailed, and again had a very logical progression as we went through the different drills, kind of built from the ground up. So, quick shout out if any of the coaches who attended are listening. Man, what a wonderful group of guys, all there with the same intentions, there to learn, there to get better, there to help their athletes and the folks that they're training and teaching and coaching to get better. And there was a lot of passion in that way in the room. It was very exciting to see. Zero ego. Everybody was super helpful. And man, it was a really good experience. Even, if you took away the training and the drills and the certification and just talked about the folks that were there, really, really good experience and really good group. And one of the things that really surprised me as we went through this clinic is that I had seen Rich do every single drill that we covered more than once in his content. So whether that is YouTube, whether that is Instagram or Twitter, we did the same stuff. Point being, there was no super secret special sauce that had been hidden that he hid from the public. It was all the same stuff. And so I think somebody even joked early in the clinic is like, Rich just consistently gives away the farm. He gives away everything. And I can say with certainty that is 100% true. So I say that to say if you are out there and you're looking for information, it is not hiding from you related to the high-level pattern. It is out there, all the drills, every piece of information you could possibly want is out there. And I'll talk more about Richard in just a second, but start to finish in this clinic, we talked about the swing and nothing but the swing. There were no sidebars. It was, start to finish, 3 days, kind of 2 days, kind of a half day, and then kind of a full day, and then another half day. We just analyzed the swing. We talked through it. We went through the drills. And one of the things that, I do really love about Rich, or Teacherman, is that everything he talks about, he goes back to the greats. He goes back to the best hitters. So it's one where we're only getting source material from the best. Now, are they going to say things different and talk about different movements and different feels? Yes, absolutely. But when we look at video, he is going right back to the best guys that have ever played the game. So it's not as if, as my real estate instructor likes to say, is not PFAing. So pull from air. Don't take your mind there. Pull from air. But PFA, he's not PFAing this information. So anyway, nothing new in terms of the drills, and I mean that in the most positive of ways. It's not. I just want to make the point that he is not hiding anything in order to drive sales in one direction or the other. So that being said, I will quickly say, and I do not get a dime for this. I'm not compensated in any way. But if you want a more organized and kind of thorough progression, he does offer a course. And it kind of takes you from start to finish. It's very much like the drills we did in the clinic in the sense that it builds from the ground up, or from the hand pivot in this case. But it is very well organized and kind of walks you straight through it. Again, everything is out there. You don't have to spend the money. Go to the YouTube page, go to the Instagram, and to go to the other pages. You'll learn all the drills. It just may take you a while to kind of sort through and organize those, but it is all out there. And again, if you want a little quicker version that walks you through step by step and gives you a workout plan and that sort of thing, you can do the course. You cannot do the course. Totally up to you, but it's out there. He also offers a propeller bat, which I have found to be extremely useful for my athletes and the kids that I coach. But you can use a PVC pipe. You don't need one, but you can get one. It is very helpful. But you can do the same thing with PVC. Not quite as effective, but you can do it. So point being, in all of this, and then we'll kind of transition here, I've seen people accuse him of being a grifter and, somebody that's in it for the money, and I will refute those accusations to my core. There's no way he's making any money hosting this clinic, like in the grand scheme of things. There's no kickback or anything for him. So it defies logic how people act sometimes. And I will say that it became abundantly clear that this is a man that really is only concerned with helping hitters be better, and that and is doing his best to instruct and to coach and teach the movement patterns of the greatest hitters of all time, and to help translate that into movement that everybody can use and take advantage of. So one of the things that was a bit interesting and funny is that he wanted to make sure that we could hit. He made a comment on the last day. He said, I lost a little bit of sleep thinking that I'm going to have some coaches certified that can't hit. And so we went right back through the drills that we had done the day before, and he wanted to see that progression and wanted to make sure that we were that we understood the swing and that we could execute the swing in order to teach it. And that's a huge thing. I know tons of baseball instructors. I had quite a few myself that if you ask them to hop in the cage and show you what you're talking about, that there's no way they wouldn't do it. They hadn't done it in years. And to me, there's a degree of credibility. I'm not saying that people don't have knowledge and not saying people don't have understanding, but I just think if you cannot physically show what you're talking about to your athletes, that's a big gap sometimes to overcome. And I would also argue that at some point it becomes theoretical. Because I can tell you, had I not picked up a bat for 10 years, I can tell you a lot of things about the swing. But if I'm not taking the swings, there's a good chance that I'm going to miss some things. So that was a very important process. Part of the process is that we actually swung the bat, and that he saw us swing the bat, and that he coached us on swinging the bat. Quick funny, I watched Rich as he was working with other folks, and every time somebody went to swing the bat, he would flinch, And I don't mean flinch in terms of like reacting to either a ball being hit back at him. I mean a flinch in the sense of like it became, he really wanted people to snap that bat as quickly as possible and to explode on that baseball. And every either pitch that was thrown or every ball that came out of the machine, you could see him flinch along with it. And trying to like will those athletes or will us as coaches through the process of snapping and going through that ball. And so I thought it was funny because it reminds me of sometimes I'm watching my kids, play something, or I'm watching a football game or something, and I'll find myself kind of, twitching along with them. But it was literally every pitch. And to me, that shows how much he cares and how much he is interested in us learning the parts of this that we need to learn. And so I had a great experience. I had a great experience with Richard. I got to eat dinner with him and have some extended conversations. And I'll say just definitively flat out, anybody that accuses him in any type of negative way. And I know, he can be, he can challenge people on Twitter. But if you don't believe in what you're doing, then, I would argue you shouldn't do it. And so he does have a very strong belief in what he has done and what he has learned and what he has been able to pull out of the best hitters of all time, what he's been able to pull out of their swings. And so I get that part of it, but he's a good man and one I was proud to spend a few days with and learn from and to continue to have a relationship with. And I look forward to continuing to learn and continue to expand that relationship, and then taking that knowledge and disseminating it to my athletes and seeing them get the results. Really, really cool experience. So let's talk real quick about the swing itself, and I'm in the process of developing some content around that and my progression with the HLP, and then how do we bring HLP to our young kids and give them the tools that they need to be able to put this swing into practice and to be able to use it. And in case you're wondering, I have seen some pretty dramatic results with the kids that I've coached with this swing, and we'll save that for another episode, but it works, just flat out. And the reason being is it addresses the biggest challenge in hitting, which is timing. And I say this over and over again to my athletes, but I believe that it allows you to put the bat in the right place at the right time and be in the right position to drive the baseball and to have greater success. So to both hit for a high average and to hit for power. And I think it dramatically reduces the amount of time between when you decide to swing and when you actually execute the swing. Rich calls that launch quickness. I think it's very efficient in doing that. And if you watched Barry Bonds as I did growing up, you could never quite figure out how he did what he did with such power. And I can say without question, you can feel it in this swing. You can feel how he did what he did, and you can actually get to balls that you think you're beat on and get to those balls with power versus just kind of chopping through and going through that. So I'll talk again in more detail. I think it'll be better for video to go through my progression as a hitter than trying to talk on a podcast. But needless to say, I was kind of taught an A to C swing, hands to the ball, create backspin by hitting down on it, get the front foot down, keep the hands back for the off speed. Hitting off speed was always really taught as an approach where you're basically looking for that. Coach would bring out the jugs machine like twice a year and shoot some curveballs at us, and it was just kind of like, oh, just keep your hands back, just keep your hands back, and you might be on time with me, I'm sure other guys hit it a lot better than I did, but I'd be on time with like 1 out of 10, so I really wasn't learning a lot because I still was trying launching my body back towards the pitcher where the ball was coming from to try to beat that fastball, because that was just the way that I learned to do it. And it really was not, I didn't learn a swing that was, we'll call it an all-weather swing that could kind of go for any count in any situation. It was really just hope you get a fastball early, beat it, make sure you beat it to the spot if you do, and then if you get 2 strikes, widen out, choke up, and just kind of pick and poke and pop and try to get on, and versus take a good swing with some velocity. And so again, there'll be a lot more content coming around the HLP swing, so look out for that. We are and have already built online programs for athletic development that begin to build foundations of physical movement and strength for athletes to be able to better execute the swing and to be able to experience better performance overall in baseball, to be able to get in better positions and to have better coordination, agility, flexibility, strength, those types of things. So those programs already exist, but then we'll have some that are really more physical drills specific to HLP. So look out for that. Programs being built currently for that. But really, it was a great trip. And just to recap, I wanted to get on, just wanted to share quickly what that experience was like while it's fresh on my mind, and just coming back from it a couple of days ago, and just to share the experience on Teacherman. I hope this gets shared a lot of places, because I think he's received a lot of unfair criticism, especially after my experience with him. Great guy, great teacher, really, really genuinely cares about seeing people learn this high-level pattern and making sure that they're successful with it. And so I'll leave you with that. If you are enjoying the show, I would ask that you share the show. Send it to a baseball friend, send it to a baseball parent, contact anybody that you know that might benefit from it. Follow or subscribe depending on your favorite platform. Make sure you check out and interact with our online channels. We are building all of this out, so it's relatively new. And so check back often and give us a follow and interact with our accounts there, and help us spread this thing to do the best we can for our young athletes in teaching them the skills and, again, the mentality, the mechanics, and then certainly helping them have fun while doing it. That's what we're here for. So share it, and again, follow and subscribe if appropriate. And until next time, keep asking for knowledge.